Hey guys, before we get into this episode, I want to talk to you guys about a giveaway that we just completed on the Soccer Brothers podcast. Basically, if you met with us at the Old Engle Tavern in Cleveland before the Nicaragua game as a part of the American Outlaws fan experience, or you caught us on social media at the right time, you could have entered yourself in a chance to win 5 special prizes from the Soccer Brothers podcast. Those prizes were Crew SC tickets, a USMNT versus Mexico scarf, a Soccer Brothers scarf, a Soccer Brothers t-shirt, and a chance to be on the podcast. Very exciting prizes, and we're happy to have given them away and gotten as many entries as we did. If you want to figure out whether you were the winner, you're going to have to stick around until the end of the podcast, and we will announce those results, or I will announce those results. But, lastly, I have to thank the American Outlaws for allowing us to partner with them at that fan event. It was very cool to be with a bunch of national team fans who were excited about the game, and we had a lot of fun doing it, so we got to tip our hats to them. They threw a great event. It was well organized, and we were happy to be there and celebrate the U.S. men's national team. So, without further ado, why don't we get into the episode? What's up, soccer fans? Welcome to the Soccer Brothers Podcast. I'm your host, Salvador. This is episode number 74. Why don't we get right into it? The USMNT played El Salvador in the quarterfinal on Wednesday, in the quarterfinal of the Gold Cup on Wednesday night in Philadelphia. First off, I thought the funniest thing about this game was that, actually there were a lot of weird things that happened in this game, but one of the funny things was, all the numbers for the players that came in, such as Michael Bradley, Darlington Nagbe, and Tim Howard, were different than what they normally are. So it was weird to see Josie Altidore with 27 and Bradley, I think, had 26, because they couldn't replace the numbers of the people who already played. So that just made it really funny. I don't know. I thought that was funny. But overall, I can't say that I was pleased with our performance in this game, but we did seem to get the job done. I thought a lot of times Omar Gonzalez bailed us out on the defensive end. Matt Hedges was not very solid in my opinion. He definitely had some stupid decisions like that. In the 9th minute, he had a dumb foul outside the box. He almost conceded a penalty later on. He was just really out of position a lot of times and just not doing the right things. Sometimes he was too aggressive, and sometimes he wasn't aggressive enough. I just thought he wasn't making the right decisions, and he's probably the weakest person on the pitch, but he definitely is a promising defender, and I think that USMNT fans shouldn't give up on him. In terms of the flanks, I thought that Justin Morrow was all right. He did have that one ball. He misjudged a through ball from El Salvador that led to a chance, but I thought he was pretty decent going forward, I thought. So I don't have too much to say about him. I don't really think that he'll be a player coming to the World Cup, but that's a different discussion. And the other defender, Eric Lehigh, of course, he had the second goal, which I should probably talk about. But yeah, why don't I just talk about the goals before I talk about Eric Lehigh? So, the first goal was in the 41st minute. Michael Bradley had a free kick swung in for Omar Gonzalez, who heads it in. Questionable goalkeeping by the Salvadorian keeper, but it was all right. And then Dempsey had the second goal. Or sorry, Dempsey did not have the second goal. Dempsey assisted the second goal as he made a great turn and played a nice through ball to Eric Lehigh, who took a touch and megged it through the keeper with his left foot. And he's right-footed, so that's significant. That was an additional time of the first half. So Lehigh, it was actually really cool to see it because Lehigh made a big run all the way from the defense. Obviously he's right back, but he was going centrally. So I don't know, it was a long diagonal run that was really cool to watch develop if you rewinded the goal. But I did think he did have his defensive lapses. Salvador just had a lot of chances. I remember in the 13th minute, El Salvador had a solid shot that Hedges conceded a chance for. I just think that there were too many chances again, and out of any part of our team, I think the most notable differences between our strongest squad and the Gold Cup squad is the defense. I don't think any of the defenders last night are really going to be starting. I'd like to see John Brooks, Jeff Cameron, DeAndre Yedlin, and Fabian Johnson or Jorge Villafana. Probably Jorge Villafania, because Fabian Johnson can play higher up. But so I would say, like, if what you're upset about most is the defense, I would say, at least you can be a little bit optimistic, because I don't think that's going to be the team playing, in the World Cup or in future World Cup qualifiers. I guess I keep on saying, like, the World Cup as if we've already qualified, but that's not necessarily true. But most likely we will. Yeah, I think that Lehigh still didn't have that strong of a game defensively. And but moving forward to the midfield, I thought that Darlington Nagbe did provide a creative presence. Like, he just sometimes makes, like, surging runs that really no one on the team, maybe barring Pulisic, can make. Like in the 48th minute, he was surging from the midfield to the final third, and it just got poked away by a Salvadorian defender. But I thought he provided the creative spark. Maybe he could have tried to do more take-ons, in my opinion, but he was definitely solid. Other than that, Michael Bradley, I thought, on set pieces, he provided some good chances that could have been goals. There was that one really good free kick that Omar Gonzalez headed over the bar later in the second half. It was just like a curving, chipped free kick, and it was really nice delivery. But I thought, he helped us gain possession. He kind of helped win the midfield, and he had an assist. So I think he did his job fine. On the wings, Gyasi Zardes and Paul Areola. Gyasi really impressed me in this game. His touch was on. His take-ons were good. His delivery was, like, all right. I mean, it wasn't the best in the world, but he was never known for that. So I think that, on that left side, he was just very threatening. Now, granted, I don't think I'm going to get as excited as my brother, for example, is. I think that in games with tougher competition, I don't think that Zardes could do everything that he was doing. But, if we can get a player that's going to easily make us not sweat during qualifiers and easier games, then I'm all for that. So, Paul Areola, I thought also, he offered some energy going forward. He was, he didn't always play that final ball well or take that final shot well. I think definitely in general that's just a theme with Paul Areola. I think that he needs to get a little bit better at his final product. But and then up top, we saw Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore. I thought that Clint Dempsey, he had a really good turn that led to Lehigh's goal and a really good pass. And I'm glad that, he didn't play selfishly, because sometimes we've seen that. Because right now he's one goal behind 57 goals, which would which would tie for the record for most goals for the U.S. men's national team with Landon Donovan. So I know that he's been trying to go for that goal, but I'm glad that he laid that one off. But besides that, I thought that Clint Dempsey actually wasn't that impressive. I just found Josie Altidore doing a little bit more hold-up play, getting a little bit more in possession, using his physical nature a little bit more. And I think that out of the two strikers, neither of which I thought were spectacular, I thought Altidore was a little better. And Altidore did well to deal with what I'm going to be talking about. So, in the 57th minute, I think this was on a corner or set piece or something, Romero, the El Salvador defender, pinches Altidore's nipple. Nipple. It was so funny to hear, Stuart Holden, he wasn't sure if he could say it, then he was just there he punches his nipple, he made, a little pause there. I've never seen that before. I don't think anyone really has. And then, a minute later, Altidore's down again, and, this time it's because Romero bites him. Altidore's just trying to cover himself up, protect himself, and Romero bites him. And that passage of play actually led to an El Salvador counterattack. So they gotta be a little bit better about watching for this stuff, because I think that Altidore did complain to the referee after the first nipple pinching incident. So this referee has to watch out for that on later set pieces. So in general, I've been seeing this a lot in some of these games. CONCACAF refs need to give out cards a little quicker, because the game gets out of control. In this game, it was just out of control, I think. El Salvador made way too many challenges that weren't booked, and it ended up making the game a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more stoppages, because he was calling fouls but not giving out cards. And it was dangerous. I mean, a lot of U.S. players could have gotten hurt. I mean, there were just so many tackles that were just dirty, and it's kind of disheartening to see that, but that's just the nature of CONCACAF. So I thought the U.S. was sometimes careless in possession in the midfield, like Darlington Nagbe. I thought when he wasn't necessarily going for those surging runs or going at defenders, he had the tendency to make some bad passes. Especially also the substitute Kellen Acosta, I didn't think did that good of a job of keeping possession. In terms of substitutes, also Chris Pontius. Nothing. I've never really seen much from him in a U.S. uniform, but whatever. And then I mean, I think that Chris Pontius does have some upside to him. I just don't necessarily think that he should be considered with this part of the pool. And then that other substitute was Jordan Morris, who he was playing left wing, I think, and he was getting up and down the field a lot and using his pace, but he didn't have that much substance to. I think it's good to see him have a minor impact and at least try to retain some of the form that he's built up in this Gold Cup. But I think one of my biggest takeaways in this game, like I said before, has to be Gyasi Zardes. If you saw him do the type of take-ons that he tried in this game like a year ago, it might not be the same outcome. A year ago, his first touch used to just go way in front of him, but it looked like he was settling some long balls nicely from Bradley and company, and he was doing the right things. He was making the right crosses. I don't think he's been bad, I think he's been good. I don't just think he's been not bad. I think he's been good for most of this Gold Cup. So, I think, and he also could have drawn that penalty in the 29th minute. So. I think he made a pretty big impact on the game. In terms of possession, I do think that it is a little bit scary to see the U.S. Only get as much possession as they did. I mean, there's going to be competition that's going to be way better than El Salvador, even in this cup. Let alone in future competition. So. I think that going forward, we know that our midfield pairing in a two-man midfield is going to be Michael Bradley and Kellen Acosta. I've discussed in previous episodes why that works so well. But I don't think in a two-man midfield you can play Darlington Nagbe and Michael Bradley. I think from an individual standpoint, you can say that both of these players had their moments. But I feel like Nagbe's moments were the best when he's making those surging runs and getting in the final third with his dribbling. And I don't think that necessarily that is the best, fit when you're playing two holding midfielders right now. So I think if you saw Kellen Acosta and Michael Bradley, they'd be a little bit more responsible, and you'd still, you can still play, Darlington Nagbe either out wide or underneath the striker or something like that. I don't think that Nagbe's true position can be a center midfielder or a holding center midfielder. So, yeah, I think that, if we're running a two-man midfield in the future, it's going to be Bradley and Acosta. So in terms of possession, I think that those players are fit and they can hold well. And I wouldn't be too worried about that aspect. And remember, really, this team is here to experiment. It's here to try out different lineups and figure out what we can take from the deeper end of the pool and bring forward into World Cup qualifying in the World Cup. Obviously, we want to all win the Gold Cup, but, if we really wanted to win it that badly, then we would see Pulisic right now. But, some things are more important, and I think Bruce Arena is, for the most part, making the right decisions and prioritizing what he needs to prioritize. So, basically, lesson, just don't expect this team to completely dominate like the U.S. first team. But I do think that we do have the talent there to play a little bit better than we are. I haven't been, super impressed. Obviously, our standout win was against Nicaragua. I actually went to that game, and if you heard the beginning, that I went to that game and hung out with the American Outlaws. That was really fun. But in terms of the game, I mean, it was a 3-0 win, but there were some chances that Nicaragua had, and I think that we've had 3-0s that were better than that game. But again, I don't want to get too pessimistic because we know about, the pool and everything else. So another big takeaway from this game, though, is the refereeing. Now, I know we always talk about CONCACAF refereeing, but as I said before, the ref let this game get way too out of hand, and Romero should definitely have a big, big punishment for what he did. I mean, biting in any context, really, forget about soccer, is just terrible. And I didn't like it when Suarez did it. I didn't like it when Romero did it. Terrible. And then the nipple pinching, creative, but... And I think Tim Howard was it who said nipple pinching should be allowed, but the biting, disgraceful. Yeah, no, he was just joking. Both of those are stupid, and but that was funny, I'm not going to lie. But Josie Altidore, I thought, was so cool for keeping his cool and not, freaking out and just playing the game. I mean, I might have said that he wasn't spectacular in this game, but, I mean, come on. He got his nipple pinched. I mean, if you play decently after a nipple pinch, then... I'm going to call your game spectacular. But, and I thought it was really funny what he said. He was saying that his wife said that she should be the only one that's allowed to do the things that Romero did to Altidore, to Josie. So that was really funny. That was a funny quote. But, yeah, I think this game, is going to be remembered by that, honestly, the stuff that Romero did. I think that there are positives and negatives to take from it, but I think Bruce Arena is slowly starting to learn a little bit more and more from each game. So, really, the most exciting performances, in my opinion, are, I thought Omar Gonzalez, even though sometimes he defended poorly, like in the 63rd minute, he let up a chance, and El Salvador just had a lot of chances in general, so I think the defense should all take a little bit of blame. But I thought Omar Gonzalez kind of made up for some of Matt Hedges' errors. So I thought Omar Gonzalez, up to his stock. I thought Darlington Nagbe, again, up to his stock, but maybe I still want to see him in a different position. And Jossie's artist, of course, if I didn't already say that. And, yeah. I think that, Paul Arriola didn't show enough. None of the substitutes showed enough. And the strikers are the strikers that started Josie and Dempsey. They don't really need to prove anything at this point. They just need to show consistency and try to get some experience playing with the rest of these players ahead of our bigger games. But, yeah, I think that's all I need to really talk about for this game. I think that looking ahead to Costa Rica, I think we should start Acosta and Bradley. I think it's important. If we're playing a two-man midfield, I think we should start Acosta and Bradley because Costa Rica has some skilled players, even if you go deeper into their pool. And I think that it won't be a piece of cake to win the midfield, so we're going to need all the best midfield we can get. And I would say that we need a three-man midfield, or it would be better to dominate the midfield with three men out there. But I don't think that any of the strikers that we have operate better in a one striker formation, particularly Dempsey and Altidore. We've seen Jurgen Klinsmann try those players in one striker formations before for the U.S. and it just doesn't end up working out. They end up getting caught on an island. There's not much help. They don't get to come. Josie will come back to the ball too much, and then we have no one going forward by the time he plays a through ball to one of our wingers. So I think that there's too many problems with that. So I'd like to see. A 4-4-2 again, but this time with Kellen Acosta and Michael Bradley, and then maybe Nagbe on the wing. I know that a lot of people are going to want to see Nagbe in the number 10 role, but I think that Bruce Arena is going to stick with this formation. But I would rather see him as a winger than just a pure holding midfielder. So that's that. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what we can do against Costa Rica and see if we can head to the Gold Cup final and hopefully play and beat Mexico in the Gold Cup final. I love beating Mexico. I really want to beat Mexico. I cannot reiterate how much I like playing against Mexico and having a higher score than them and beating them. So I really want that to happen. But whatever. As long as we win the Gold Cup and have a good showing, then I'm cool. Before we get into the giveaway that I talked about at the beginning of the podcast, I'm going to talk about some transfer rumors that I've heard about. So, Neymar, apparently PSG want to meet that 222 million euro buyout clause and purchase Neymar from Barcelona. And personally, I think that this move could be really big for PSG if they get it. I mean, obviously, it's a big fee. I understand that. But this is a player who's not only going to give you an immediate impact, but obviously he's going to perhaps develop a little more and give you an impact for the long term. So I think that for Neymar, though, because I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard Neymar's side of this. So, I mean, this is what I think, how I think you should look at it. I mean, you're with one of the best front lines, soccer has ever seen. I think that there's really something special about the Messi, Neymar, Suarez trio, and I would stay there if it's purely about, soccer. I think that on that team he has a better chance to win a little bit more trophies. I do think that Barcelona maybe need one more piece, but they have what it takes to start winning more Champions Leagues and start robbing more from Real Madrid, in my opinion. So that's how I feel about that one. Ross Barkley to Spurs is a big one I've heard about. Ross Barkley never was the same player that I thought he was in like 2013, 2014 when he was, younger. He's had some injury issues. He's injured right now, actually. I think that Tottenham doesn't necessarily have a starting place for Ross Barkley, and I think that the bid of 50 million, I'm not sure if it was euros or pounds, is just too high. So I would not recommend that for Tottenham. But if Everton can ease some of that debt that they may have gained from some of those purchases that they made, that'd be pretty cool by offloading Ross Barkley, because I think they have the midfield replacements in Rooney and Klaassen that they need. So that's how I feel about those transfers. And now finally, I can get on to the giveaway. So basically, the giveaway consists of 5 prizes. If you came to the American Outlaws bar that we were at, the Old Angle Tavern, or if you checked us out on social media, you had a chance to win these 5 prizes. One of them is tickets to a Crew SC match. One of them is a USA vs. Mexico scarf. There's Soccer Brothers scarf, Soccer Brothers t-shirt, and an invitation to a Soccer Brothers episode. So the winner of the tickets to the Crew SC match is Mirko Kurkic. I apologize if I said that name wrong, but you can contact us, and we will contact you to make sure you can get those tickets. Eric Matson won a USA versus Mexico scarf. Contact us, and we will get that delivery information to you as well. The winner of a Soccer Brothers scarf is Navdeep Bass. Bass, I think that's how you pronounce it. And a winner of a Soccer Brothers t-shirt will be Jonah Knight. So, thank you. Oh, one more, actually, sorry. Invitation onto a Soccer Brothers episode, Blake Barkley. You get a chance to get onto the Soccer Brothers episode if you want to. That was like more of like an optional thing. We know that everyone's not going to want to be on the podcast or has time to be on the podcast. But thank you so much for everyone who entered the competition. We are really excited to get these prizes out. So also that was just a really cool experience to be at that game. Be at that bar leading up to Nicaragua. Everyone was hyped about the U.S. men's national team, and it really made me get more excited for the game and become more proud of where we've come as U.S. soccer, because, I mean, maybe, 20 years ago you couldn't have gotten that many people around a cause, around soccer, like in the U.S. like you can now. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, I think that will be the whole episode. I will see you guys after the Costa Rica game, but first let me plug a couple things. We have an email at SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter and Instagram. Those are at SoccerBrosPod. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Podkicker, a bunch of different podcasting platforms, so you can check us out there. And review and rate us on those places if you can, please. You can send us questions at SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. But thank you so much for your support, and I hope to get a little more consistent. My friends have been in town. I've been out of town. I've been a little busy. I will be more consistent, promise this time. And I will see you guys later on episode number 75. I'll see you guys later on episode number 75 of the Soccer Brothers Podcast. Thank you.